The lake would have been quiet, silent even, but his laughter rang out alongside me. Even though I'd buried him 3 years ago, this silence was cruel. The sort that teases you with old love only to leave you clutching shadows. We'd vowed this land would be our final book, a place to get old. But now alone, boots stepping into soggy, moss-covered ground, scents of pine and aged mud in the air, to do that final chapter by myself. Crunching gravel came behind me. I turned for perhaps a deer or wind among the trees, but not. A woman was there instead, her clipboard held as tight as a knife, blazer as cutting as knives, her smile as sharp as a blade, no warmth. She didn't know me, didn't take the time to care. To her, I was trespassing on what she thought was her land. What she didn't realize? I owned it, all of it, legally. And I'd lost much more than dreams to set foot here. She had no idea what I'd do to defend the last thing that still felt like peace. I'd come at sunrise, the lake shimmering gold in the rising sun, beautiful but with something broken beneath. The truck rolled to the clearing where a decaying concrete slab reigned like a twisted scar. I discovered this site on the internet years before. Unclaimed, abandoned, a secret pocket of the world where I could begin anew. But I knew even peace has its own battle. As I lowered the tailgate to offload, a voice cut the morning air. "Excuse me," she said, courteous but dripping with vinegar. I turned in her direction. She was mid-late 60s, sporting one of those outfits you dress up for to go to brunch at a country club, that clipboard held like a law tome. "Are you with the tenants approved by the HOA?" she asked, already writing me up in her eyes. I rattled my head. "I purchased this property. It belongs to me." Her face froze, incredulity turning into something near primal. "That can't be done," she snapped. "This adjoins the Greenbelt. The HOA governs the lakefront and buffer areas. Transactions must be approved by the board." I didn't flinch, just took out the deed from my backpack. Signed, stamped, county sealed. This plot wasn't included in Cedar Grove's charter. It's private, purchased fair and lawful. No involvement with the HOA. She scanned it like it owed her a loophole, but there wasn't one. "You'll still have to meet our design standards," she huffed. "We maintain uniformity. Building plans must go through committee." I gave her a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "Thanks for the info, but I'm not in your HOA." She paused like walking away was a loss, then stalked off. My pulse didn't race from fear, only from the sheer nerve of her, thinking she had a say in the life I'd carved from loss. I pushed her from my head. I had work to do. A cabin for him. For us. I cut weeds, reshaped the fire ring along the shore, hung a broken windshield on a cedar tree, his favorite. I remained on my side, stayed to my property, but I was still regarded as the other. By day 2, a man in a golf cart drove 3 laps around the lake, radio ringing out over the water. By day 3, there was a sign on the border of my trail, "Community access only." I removed it, leaned it against a tree. By week's end, a piece of paper was stuck to my truck windshield. No letterhead, simply a threat. "Non-compliance with HOA looks will be fined." My hands trembled, not with doubt, but rage. They believed they could chip away at what I'd fought back from sorrow, debt, and loss. They had no idea what I'd been through, how I'd put him in the ground and continued on. I started writing everything down, signs, notes, golf cart rounds. Called the county, committed again. My property was exempt. I constructed my own wall, mental, emotional, immovable, forged in the vow I'd made to him. Nobody would claim this place. Not time, not grief, not strangers with clipboards and privilege. Then Patricia came back, this time accompanied by 2 men. One was carrying a camera, the other a measuring wheel. I stood by and let them draw lines and complain about setbacks and easements. When they came up, clipboard held out like a gun, I simply smiled. I'd read the entire text of Cedar Grove's charter, had a copy of the 1985 plat to demonstrate my land lay outside its limits, and I just retained Nora, a real estate lawyer who didn't blink. "Talk to your attorney next time," I said to her. Patricia's jaw snapped closed. The cameraman fidgeted uneasily. I faced back to the lake, wind chill on my skin. It wasn't rage that I'd felt. It was determination. Patricia's aggressiveness had sparked something within me, something long buried. Sorrow had emptied me. She just plugged up the cracks with something real. This land was not merely land. It was us, the dream we were to share. I didn't run. I prepared. Drove to the county office. Got certified copies of my deed, of the plats from '85 and 2008. The clerk even noted how rare my parcel was, one of the last untouched by Cedar Groves. At 2:47 a.m., the cameras recorded them. Two forms sneaking, one flashlight, one flag dragging. Infrared recorded it all. Audio as well. I sent it to Nora. "This is property tampering," she said. "A game changer." I continued on. Constructed a stone ring for the fire. Every spade of dirt a statement. Next was Officer Tate from the county, informed me that the HOA had reported I was constructing on their property. I gave him the file. He sat and went through it, impressed. "Your flags give them more land, not less," he said. "Some people think maps bend if you ignore them long enough." He threatened to file a false report claim. Patricia wasn't finished, though. Later, a phony notice ordered me to appear at an HOA disciplinary hearing for harmony violations. I laughed, took a photo, called Nora. "She's impersonating a public official now," Nora said. "Keep logging everything." My journal, formerly a grief journal, had become a battle log. They sought to erase me. I etched deeper. A few days later, a drone whizzed overhead. I saw Patricia on the trail with a remote. I followed the altitude of the drone, 10 feet over my cabin deck, infringed on every privacy statute on the books. I shared the video and flight pattern with Nora. "Gold," she said. By the fire pit, I whispered to him, "I'm still here." Because this wasn't land. It was ours. Then the sheriff arrived. Dust cloud behind his cruiser. Patricia had crossed the line. Sheriff Boone climbed out, gentle but weary. "They reported you as a squatter," he said. I gave him the file. He pored over the deeds, plats, and timestamps. Grunted. "You're no squatter." Patricia had informed dispatch I was threatening the area with building. "A cabin and some wildflowers?" I asked. He smirked. "Filed a false report. Again." Walked the lines. Admired my cameras. "Grief teaches you to prepare," I said. He didn't ask questions. Just tipped his hat. 2 days later, a letter arrived. On Cedar Grove HOA letterhead. Blamed my cabin for visual pollution. Nora's eyes sparkled. "Fraud," she said. "They used the letterhead without board approval." Patricia returned, this time accompanied by 2 women in polos, reciting a scripted line about community trust. I interrupted her. "You're trespassing, I have counsel, and you're being recorded." Her facade slipped. "You don't belong here," she growled. "It was never about the land, it was about me, the one who didn't fit her cookie-cutter kingdom." I called the sheriff, reported her by name. She ran, her entourage following like chastised pets. Weeks went by. I installed floorboards, every nail a promise, and then pushed under my door an envelope.